Hello, everyone. Welcome to AI 900 session. This session has been brought to you by Synergetics Information Technology Services. We are a learning services and we provide trainings in multiple colleges, in multiple companies, that is either on cloud or data and analysis or AI. So this is a video sponsored by them. And my name is Manasi Shahane, and I'll be hosting this video. I'll be conducting the delivery in this video. So, welcome everyone to the AI 900 session. Like I said, my name is Manasi Shahane, and little bit introduction about me. So, I am a Microsoft certified trainer. I've been associated with Synergetics for quite a few years, and my domain of training has been in data and AI, and I'll be conducting this session. So this is a very introductory session on AI, and that too on a cloud that is very popular, which is called as Azure. So basically, we are going to understand, first of all, what is artificial intelligence? Why do we need it? What are the different workloads in the AI domain, right? Because it's such a vast topic. It's something that is not been there for, I mean, it's been there for quite a few years. It's a term that was coined in the year 1956. So it's been there in the market. People are aware, were not aware about it until and unless OpenAI through its GPT model, that is Chat GPT, kind of revolutionized this technology. So it's been there, like I said, for a lot of few years. And since 2022, a lot of people have started adopting, even laymen have started adopting this technology, has become so popular. But let's understand the fundamentals, right? People are just adopting it, using it without knowing the knowledge about what this particular technology is. So in this video, we are just going to cover about that, and we are also going to talk about a little bit what is exactly AI 900, right? So in case if you are looking at getting yourself certified on AI, right, and that too on Azure cloud, so this certification is something that is useful for you. So that is what we are going to understand, where you can go study about it. So I'm going to do a quick introduction to this topic, and then we will see a couple of demos on this particular topic, right? That is through the Azure cloud. Now let's go ahead and first of all understand the very first or the most fundamental question that anyone will ask you, right? Or you might also come across, or you might be curious about, and that is, what is artificial intelligence? Because I told you it's not a new term, it's something that has already been there in the market. It's just that the awareness came when Chat GPT was launched in the year 2022, and it kind of gave a different aspect to the AI world, right? So, what is exactly AI? Let's understand that. So, AI is something like, as it says, artificial intelligence. So, it basically uses or it basically mimics how a human brain works, right? Exactly that way. The Let's say I give it to a computer or to a system, and I want it to act the same way as a human acts or a human brain functions. So that is what is exactly AI. So through AI, so it's basically nothing but a software, it's nothing but a system that is capable of doing two things. So the first thing is inferring, create or make out inferences. And second thing is predictability. Now, what do I mean by predictability? So, for example, let's say you are working in a bank, right? And people come to you to get loans, right? People want loans to basically start a business or buy a house or buy a car, etc. So there are so many loans that all the banks offer, right? So let's say a person comes to you and that person wants to get a loan, right? So or I mean, there is a human who is sitting and is going to tell or is going to take the decision that whether this person gets a loan or not, right? So how is he going to decide? So he will infer from the data, right? get into the part get I mean go across, look at the participant or the person who's coming to get the loan, check its background, see whether that person has any other property, has a property on his name or not, right? Check whether what is the income of the person, what is the gender, okay? Is there any other person who combined with his income, suppose his wife, the income increases. So based on these factors or these features, right, we infer the data, and based on that we also predict that person who's at the bank is going to decide, right, whether you get a loan or not. And these are the factors that he or she will use in order to predict the outcome. So same thing, instead of a human sitting and doing, because we all know humans generally take some time, they might be busy, right? To process a loan, we all know it takes days or a month or whatever, I don't know the exact duration, but it takes time, right? So we all need that money immediately. Probably you really have some emergency, right? You want your insurance to be claimed fast, okay, all the process, because we all know it is a very lengthy process or time consuming process. So or getting those approvals takes time, right? If there's a human that is sitting. But what if I tell the system, I tell a computer that, okay, these are the things that you have to look at. These are the features which we would normally tell a human, or normally a human would use in predicting the loan, or predicting the weather for today, whether it will rain or not, or predicting the outcome of a match, right? Whether it's a cricket match, whether that team will win or lose, or it will be a draw, right? If it's a league match. So, same thing. Instead of a human, if I train a system and I tell, okay, you go ahead and make predictions, infer the data, and give me the output. So, that is what exactly is AI. So, what is artificial intelligence? It's something that is mimicking a human brain and represents a real time scenario. So, if I want to predict any outcome and infer the data, so the purpose of AI is for two things, that is to predict the outcome and to infer the data. So, it will make the prediction based on patterns, based on information that is provided, right? Similarly, like how the human or a person sitting in the bank gets your details about your income, about your um, other properties that you have or you don't have, what kind of income, or sorry, is it a combined income, etc. All those details, all those marital status, gender, etc. All those details they get, and they predict the outcome, whether that person should get a loan or not. So that is what is exactly AI. And in AI, we just don't work with one thing, right? It is something that comprises of a lot of things in it. So if I have to now tell the system, so what is that system in AI terminology? It is called as a model or a workload. So what is a model? Model is something that is going to help. It is nothing but that computer, that system, the machine, based on which it is going to infer and predict the outcome. So over here, right, there are, if you look at the diagram here, there are 6 workloads or 6 models that you can use, okay, and implement artificial intelligence. So the very first thing that came, okay, that is also a part of AI, is called as the machine learning. So what is machine learning? It is nothing but a simple or the foundational model of AI, wherein you do basically you use mathematics and statistics, straightforward formulas or functions you use, and based on that you do the prediction. Okay, you infer the data, use statistics to do that, and whatever outcome you get, you predict the result. So that is what is the foundational. That is why if you see, it is actually the foundation of all the AI models or the other workloads that are there in AI. It's the very foundation. Because if you don't know this, okay, then using or implementing the other models becomes very difficult, or you don't get that knowledge or etc. So having a good, strong foundation in machine learning is something that is very critical. So that is the first workload. Then you have the vision, okay, work with computer vision. See, because in machine learning, what is the only thing that you work on is a structured data, whether it's in file, it could be in a table, in database, anything it could be. So it's more or less like a structured data that you're working on. And we know that data is not just structured, right? We have semi-structured data, we have unstructured data. For example, we have JSON files, we have XML files, we have audio, video, images, all those kinds of binary file formats, or NoSQL databases, right? Wherein our data is stored. So we need something that will even handle that data and do the predictions, infer that data and do the predictions, right? So for that, right, we need different models. So one of the models that is there, which is called as computer vision. So what does computer vision do? Basically handles images, helps us handle images or videos, wherein you have videos in it, you have images in it. That's what basically code is going to help us, right? So that is one of the first modules, or one of the first models. Then you have the information extraction. Now, we all know that whenever we go online, like if I have to apply for a loan or a driver's license, if I have a business card or etc., all those things, right? So those, or PDFs or etc. So let's say I want to extract data from that, from a document, whether it's a Word file or it's a PDF. Okay. Or for example, let's consider you are working in a legal firm. Okay. You work with a law firm or a legal firm. And we all know that there are so many case laws. Now, what are case laws? Case laws are nothing but judgments, arguments that were passed in previous lawsuits that were filed. Okay. So basically all these firms have access to these case laws of different courts, like high courts or lower courts, like session courts or civil courts and etc. So they have access to that, so that if they have a case that has come up recently and it is almost similar to a case that had happened in the past, right? So let's say a lawyer wants to see what was the judgment that was passed, what kind of arguments were raised, what kind of witnesses were there, what kind of um, affidavits were filed, right? What kind of arbitration, litigation was followed? Okay, if it's a banking or finance related fraud. So what were the cases? Was there a similar case to the case they have right now? And they want to extract information. Okay, or let's say you want to fill out forms. Okay, there is a structure. You want to extract information from forms, right? Because forms have a structure, right? Let's say you want to extract information for that. So AI also helps you do that. So on Azure, if I have to be more specific, there are two services or two workloads or two models that help us extract this information from PDFs, from all these forms, from business cards, etc., all of them, from passports or licenses, right? Those are all structured. I mean, they have a fixed this thing, right? Like how our licenses are in India and etc. So same thing if I have to extract quickly, because otherwise, if I keep a human, or let's say I want to, you're working in a company and you have invoices, right? Invoices are something that are generated after the service has been given or something, and the bill basically. So if I want to analyze, or receipts, if I have to analyze very quickly, find out what is the total amount, right? Which product costed how much, etc. All that information, if I have to extract, then I can use two services on Azure. That is the Azure AI search, and second is the Azure Document Intelligence, to help me extract information. So it could be from documents, it could be from forms, invoices, etc. So that is a workload, that is also AI. So that is also one of the models that you have. Then it, like I said, data is not just about structured data, or it's not just about images, audios, or PDFs and etc. It could be about natural languages also. Like for example, when you go to a hotel and you're being asked to give a feedback, right? How did you find your services and etc. So every person is not going to be technical. in writing the feedback. It is, of course, given in a natural language, right? So if I want to analyze that, predict, okay, now for example, I don't know English, but I know my local regional language and I've given a feedback. So let's say I want to detect, first of all, the language that is there, because it's a local regional language or it could be some foreign language that I'm not aware. And I want it to be detected. I want to know what kind of a language is this. And of course, translate it also, let's say, I want to even do that. Or we have given, or I have a document that I've given, it's in French. Let's say I want it to be converted, translated to English or any other language. Or let's say I want, for example, when we go to a lot of websites. So let's say I go to make my trip and I want to, book some hotels in Thailand. I'm making a trip to Thailand. So let's say there is no human who is sitting there who will come and assist me and tell me, okay, these are the hotels that are there, these are the flights that are there, these are the rates. So instead of a human, let's say you add a chatbot to the website, and through that chatbot, you talk, you communicate. And of course, it's not going to happen in a technical language. Nobody who comes to make my trip knows technical language, right? So it has to be it'll be in a natural language. So we need to even handle that sort of data, handle that sort of information. So who's going to help us do that? It is going to be the natural language workload or that model. So on Azure also we can do that, or in any general artificial intelligence. If I have to say, okay, AI is capable of managing that as well. So if you want to analyze the sentiment behind the feedback, behind that text, classify the text. Now, from that text, you want to identify what is a location in this, what is an entity. For example, location, what is there a date that has been specified? Is there a specific hotel name, time mentioned, any historical location mentioned or place mentioned? So if you want to extract that, or now we all know we have this Alexa, and earlier we had that Google and etc. So let's say I want to build something like that, who helps me in my day-to-day activities. Like I can ask Alexa to play music, switch on the lights, switch off the lights, turn on the AC, turn on the fans, or whatever appliances that are there at home. Let me know the latest weather information. I want to naturally communicate with a bot. So either you type it or you can communicate or have a conversation with that. So if I want to do that, again, we use AI. It's nothing but artificial intelligence only. There's no human sitting. It's a system, it's a model that is sitting and is doing these tasks, right? And now we know, like, since 2022, since OpenAI launched the GPT, Chat GPT, it has kind of revolutionized the domain, right? So we all know that, let's earlier the traditional AI. So the models that I just spoke about, the information extraction, computer vision, natural language. Okay, these are all traditional AI models or even machine learning that we have. They are all traditional AI models. So there is a limitation to it up to which you can use, right? That is why to overcome that limitation, okay, we scientists or data scientists or AI engineers came up with a new model, and that is called as the generative AI. So to a generative AI, we all know that we have the LLMs, that is the large language models that are associated with it. So what do they do basically? They basically help us generate content. Now, that content could be images, it could be a natural language, it could be a text, it could be a code, it could be a video, it could be anything. So, as the name says, generative AI, its job is to generate a content, right? Which the traditional AI model is not able to do it. Its job is to predict, okay, and infer from the data, but any generation, if I had to do related to content, right? So all that was not possible with the traditional AI models. And since generative AI came, it kind of made it super easy for people to draft mails, to draft what we say, to draft essays and etc., draft mails, plan out events, find out information very quickly and in a natural language, right? So that is another workload that is present, and another workload that we also have now that is becoming very, very popular is called as the agents. That is the data agent. So what is exactly a data agent? So like earlier, when we had to book a flight, okay, earlier there were not many websites or something like this. Or world internet was just coming, or was getting was just the popularity was gaining and things were coming. Cloud came and etc. All those things came onto the platform. So earlier, if I had to book a flight or something, then we had to call up a travel agent, specify our details, where are we traveling, what time, what date, what day are we traveling, etc. All those details we had to mention. And the travel agent, what he would do, he would easily go, he would go to the, they would go to the office, or they would use the websites, they know what time the website was open and etc. It would have been easy, and they could do it very easily. So over here, let's say instead of, again, like I said, AI is something that is looking for to replace an human entirely and let the system do everything. So here, let's say I want to book a flight, right? I'm, let's say, traveling to Bangalore on 15th of February I want to, let's say in the somewhere in the afternoon, I want to travel. I want to avoid the Bangalore traffic. So I want to land in Bangalore around 3 o'clock or something. So I want to look for flights before that. So I will give this to the agentic AI. I'll give it to the data agent and all the details. And what will the data agent do? Of course, give you options, right, of different airlines. It will give you the time slots. It will give you for 15th of February, all those things. And you select out of that one of the flights, and it will also, like how the travel agent would also book it for you. If you pay, it will do the payment, it will book it for you and you then do the payment. Same thing the data agent will do. So even you, once you select your flight option, it will go and book, as if a human is booking the flight, it will go and book the flight for you. Okay. And it will also tell you to pay or whatever the next steps are. So instead, AI is basically completely looking at replacing the humans with a system. And that is what data agents do. Okay, not just that, and you can do all of this in natural language. You don't need to know how to write a code, or if you're working with databases, you don't need to know how to write SQL commands, right? You don't need to know how to write a code or any of those languages. You don't need to learn, and simply using plain, simple English, you can communicate with the system, right? And that is what is the agentic AI, or in general, artificial intelligence, right? So over here, let's look at, so Azure has different services. So because this is AI 900, so AI 900 basically is a certification of Microsoft, and Microsoft has a cloud called Azure. So on Azure, I can use these AI services. So this is the AI services that are present. So right from machine learning till performing or creating data agents, you can do on the Azure cloud. And for this, they have a platform which they call it as the Microsoft Foundry platform. And that is the platform we are going to use. So, of course, I'm going to show you all a demo on how to use the Microsoft Foundry platform and work with generative AI, work with the language service, and etc. Right? So here, before we go ahead, of course, to this or to for this certification, you need to give you need to have the knowledge of Azure fundamentals. Like, for example, what is a resource group? What is a subscription? What is a region? Right? All these fundamentals you need to know. Right? It's not compulsory for you to give the AZ 900 exam, but at least the fundamental part, or the terms that I just told you need to be aware about it. Right? So these are the services that are present. So you can either use them as standalone services, or you can use them as or you can use multiple services together in one service. So there are a couple of ways in which you can use this. So this is how you can get started with the Azure AI services, right? So let's look at some of the examples, right? So let's look at how to work with the generative AI, that is the LLMs here, right? How to use the chat GPT model over here. And let's look at the language service also. So let's go ahead. I've already logged into the portal and let's go ahead. So like I told you, we have to use the Azure AI, sorry, now it's called as Microsoft Foundry. So we will be using the Microsoft Foundry portal. Okay, so it's a one-stop solution for all your AI services that you want to use, right? So this is how the Foundry service looks like. Now, this is the old Foundry service that you see here. This is a old Foundry service. So if you want see, we can create an agent here directly. Or we also have, so if you go to the full model catalog, you can see that we have not just because see Microsoft, we all know this is not a hidden knowledge. It's something that we already know that Microsoft has also invested in OpenAI, right? Because OpenAI, it got the GPT model, Microsoft, Gemini, sorry, Google, AWS, Meta. These were all whose models came pretty much later. Since Microsoft had invested with OpenAI, we can see the models here also available. And not just that, you can also see models. So if you go to the full catalog, you will see not just the GPT models or any Microsoft models, you will also see models of different other third-party companies like I think DeepSeek is there, Meta Llama models are there. There might be Gemini also. So if you just search for it, you will just find a full catalog of different organizations and of course native Microsoft, OpenAI models also available over here, right? So there are lots of it. You can just go and search for it, look for this in the catalog. So here, what I am going to do, I'm going to create a simple model. Okay, I'm going to use a GPT-4o model, and let's see how to use that here. So I'm just going to come out of this, go to the Foundry portal, and over here in the model catalog, before that we can search for the model. So you can just search for whichever model you like. So I'm going to say GPT 4O. So I'm going to take this model. I'm going to use this model and create this here. So just select use this model. So here we need to first of all create a project. So I'm just going to create a project very quickly and I'll give it a name. So I'll just call this as a trial generative AI project, just giving it a name just for this webinar purpose. And just going to select a different resource group here. And I'll just call this as Foundry. So go with whichever region you have. So of course you need a subscription. Like I said, you need a resource group. So you need that knowledge. And of course you need a region. Where are you going to create this service? So that information also you need. So just click on the create and continue option here. So it's first of all going to create a project, and within that project, we will be creating a GPT-4o deployment. We'll be deploying this model. So normally if you go to Chat GPT, you don't get that flexibility to select a model. So whatever free version offers, you have to select that. But because here we have a subscription, so I'm able to select that. So here let it set up. I just wanted to show you this. So it will take some time. Let's wait for it. giving me an error. So, okay, so I'll just select this project. I'd already created one in case this failed. So here I'll go to the model catalog, and again I'll just so here I'll just search for one. Change the location, or let me just go with this for now because this is just for demo purposes. So I'll just create this. So it's a very simple deployment that you have to do. So you need a project first on the Foundry service to create and deploy the models, whether it could be a generative AI model or it could be the other models that we discussed, that is the language model or the speech model or your translator model or even the vision model, right? So computer vision. So these are different models, like I said. So you can definitely create that, and within a project, you can create. So either you can create it as a standalone service or you can create a multi-service resource of all the models in one. So here I'm going with a project, and inside that I'm individually creating this. So here let's just wait for this to be created. So this has been created here. So now let's say you want to use this model, you want to build your own chat application. Okay, you want to, because the creating a model and yeah, creating a model from scratch, whether it's an LLM model or a deep learning model, at times it is very cost intensive and very time consuming because there are and of course it takes a lot of years, like I said, time consuming to basically train that model, build a logic behind it, though it uses mathematics and etc. It's not an easy task. It needs a lot of investment and etc. to create a model and make it available to people, even if we are talking about using it within an enterprise. So over here, all these models are something that are already being trained by Microsoft, or when we talk about Gemini or the Llama models, they're already being trained by those companies like Google, Meta, Microsoft, or OpenAI. We don't have to train them again or create them again, but we can use these models and definitely develop an application around it. So in case you want to do that, right? So there are two things that are available. One is the endpoint, and second is the key, using which you can definitely create a custom application. Okay, now that application can be written in Python or C sharp. That's your call, how you write that application. But you can use this model which is already trained, add your data or whatever, use the logic behind this model, and you can develop an application. So here I'm just going to simply use the playground. Just click on this, and we're just going to question this, use the, so here it is using the data from the internet. Of course, we are not using any custom data here. So I'm just going to close this and I'll ask a question here. So over here, let's say you are planning a trip to Paris and you want information regarding it. So you have to write a prompt. So what is a prompt? We all know it is nothing but instructions, your question, right? That you want to ask the model. So, and you want a response, a answer in return. So that is what is basically the prompt over here. So you have, it's like a question and answer, like I said, natural language, where you go and you question people. Same thing. If I want to do here, we will do it in the, through the prompts. So here I'm just writing a very simple prompt. So I'll say, I am planning a trip to Paris in September. Can you help me? Okay, so a simple question because I'm planning a trip, let's say to Paris somewhere in September, and I want to know information, what to see, where can I stay, right? All that things I want to know. What are the upcoming events during that time or adventures that are there? What are the transport that I can use, right? So you can see it's generated a response here for me. So you can see based on your question, it has given you and it's given it to you in a general, natural language only, right? So that is what is the generative AI, one of the workloads here. Then, of course, you can follow it up with more questions, right? If you want to have a more detailed response, so you have to be more specific also in that. So let's say you want to get more information about this. So you can also say what are the top 10 sites to see in Paris. Okay, let's say you want to see the top 10 spots, only you have time to visit. So let's say you want to see that. So you can just say answer with, you can be more specific, like I said, answer with a numbered list in order of popularity. Okay, so you can just ask a follow-up question or you can even start a new chat. Okay, so you have that option also here. So once this is there, so you can see there's a chat history also being maintained, etc. All of this. So you can definitely clean this and start a new uh, prompt also. Right? So you have certain prompt examples. So in case you don't know how to write a prompt, how to start with a prompt, so you can use these examples and you can definitely go ahead and ask questions to the model. So of course here you can definitely add your own data and all those things you can do. So this is the generative AI model that is there. Also, we can use different models. Like I said, we have the language model, we have the speech model, etc. So all those models also we can use here. So I'm just going to show you a language model that we can use. Very simple. So here, let's say there are customers who have come and they have submitted a feedback. So I have a feedback here, which is in the text documents. Okay, so this is something that I'm going to upload here. And I want the language model to analyze the sentiment and let me know whether it's a positive sentiment or it's a negative sentiment. So over here, if I show you all the text, so let me just switch the screen. Yeah. So if you see, this is the text. I stayed at the Hudson View Hotel in New York for so and so. It exceeded every expectation. So I think it's going in a more forward or a positive direction. The hotel's location was ideal, making it easy to explore local food options. I especially loved dinner at the Cooper Spoon and all those things. A Copper Spoon, I'm sorry, had an excellent. So you can see overall, it is saying made my trip to New York feel effortless and enjoyable. Highly recommendable. I mean, highly recommended. So you can see it's a positive feedback. So let's see whether this model is able to predict it or not, whether it's a positive feedback or not. So let's just check. And you can just click on this run button here. And you can see definitely it's a positive feedback. Right? It's a positive feedback and it's telling you also on what lines, where it found. So can you see it's indicated that, okay, this is telling me this is positive, where it is neutral. Okay, all those things you can see indicators have been given over here, right? So you can see all of this. So we can also attach another document that I have. So let's just add that here and we will see the sentiment. Just one last thing, and then we will, of course, end. I stayed at Sunset Plaza Plums or whatever. Unfortunately, the experience didn't live up to the photos or the price. So you can see it's definitely a negative feedback here. So let's see. Let's run this. And you can see it's giving you a different response because I think the model I've selected is not this. So let's try and go with the sentiment. So you have to ensure that you select the model. So you can also use different models that are available in the language, natural language. So in case you want to extract key phrases, named entities, detect a language. Okay, so here let's say I add something like I'm adding a German language. I know that is the only other language that I know well. So here I'm just asking, I'm just writing this thing. So let's run it. So it will tell you what language it is. Okay, it is detecting. It's not going to, of course, can translate it. Okay, there's no translation that is there. So you can definitely see DE means Deutsch. It means German. So you can see it's given and detected the language here, right? So you can see you can not just use it for sentiment analysis, but you can also use it for different languages, detecting the language, translating it also. So here you have the translation service also, which is there. So if you go to the AI services, you will see the translation also available. So not just speech or, I mean, not just text, you can also translate the speech or that is there. So this is the introduction to the AI services on Azure. Just a few things. It's a big, long session. So in case you all want to look into the certification of the AI services on Azure, so there is two certifications. One is the fundamental, that is the AI-900, which it's okay if you don't give, you can go through the learn modules. So in case you want to go and read about it, so you can just go online. I'll also show you where you can go and read about it. So you can just go online and just search for AI 900, learn modules, go to the official Microsoft documentation, and you will see the name is Azure AI Fundamentals. You can explore the modules here, right? So this is the fundamental module. But in case you all want to go ahead further in your AI journey and want to explore the Azure platform for it, then you have another certification with the name AI 102, which is the advanced certification. So this is the name of the certification that you can go and explore. Okay, so this is a little advanced. This will be more in terms of developing applications, also knowing a little bit about coding. Okay, so that is, and it covers all the other modules or models of the Azure of AI, basically. So that's it. Thank you everyone for watching this video till the end. And I hope it was useful and full of information. All the best for your AI journey.